What an opportunity for us as facilitators of the Maine Anjou breed to make a solid footprint in today's beef industry, not to mention the breed's future. Hi, I'm John Boddicker, Executive Vice President of the American Maine Anjou Association. I truly believe the Reaching Beyond Foundation, if adequately funded, can be one of the single most influential and beneficial programs afforded its membership in the history of the breed. Why do I say that? The support of youth, education, and research programs are vital for the breed's sustainability, but collectively, all working in unison, can prove to be a very dynamic vehicle for the advancement of the Maine Anjou breed. Today you will witness both past and present Maine Anjou industry enthusiasts conveying their thoughts on the true value of moving this great breed forward. Let's listen in and see how research, both present and in the future, will enhance the Maine Anjou breed.
I think one of the things that, even though Maine Anjou is a relatively small breed compared to some others, they've had a long time commitment to genetic improvement. And that's maybe even for Maine Anjou breeders something they take for granted. But they've been pretty progressive in working with a variety of organizations to promote and improve their genetic evaluation system. As I mentioned before, they work with American Simmental and are partners in a large multi-breed genetic evaluation that currently is the largest genetic evaluation system for beef cattle in the world, and comprises not only Maine Anjou cattle, but Simmental, Gelbvieh, Red Angus, Limousin, and a number of others that work collaboratively to build a very sophisticated and effective genetic evaluation system. One of the activities that Maine Anjou has undertaken in the last few years to support the development of their genetic evaluation system is involvement in the area of genomics. Through the Simmental Association and that genetic evaluation that includes now genomic data, Maine Anjou has the opportunity to participate in providing molecular breeding values and augmenting the accuracy of EPDs that are produced through the system by collecting DNA marker information. So over the past few years, the Maine Anjou Association's collected a sizable repository of DNA samples and had those genotyped using high-density genotyping platforms. And now we're about to deploy and release EPDs that are now what we call genomically enhanced. So they use the information about the associations between variation in DNA sequence and their performance attributes. So we can use that information on animals at much younger age and gather accuracy in the EPDs by collecting the sample, genotyping it, putting that data into the genetic evaluation system. And it's a way, I think, that particularly for small breeds and smaller breeders, can really help close the performance gap. One of the things we know from our traditional genetic evaluation systems is that large contemporary groups contribute most of the value to the genetic evaluation system in terms of the source of information. Small contemporary groups aren't actually very useful because they don't provide good estimates of the contemporary group mean. Genomic data is contemporary group size independent. So we get as much information out of a single DNA sample once we have our system built as we do from 10 samples. Each animal has the same prediction equation. We just use the DNA sample to inform that molecular breeding value. So the genomic tools are actually very useful and effective for small breeders to help identify and quantify the genetic merit of their animals, where in the past they've kind of had their hands tied a little bit because they didn't have very much power from their data because of contemporary group size. So Maine Anjou for a small breed has been very progressive and very aggressive in adopting new technology, and that's certainly something that will help position them for success moving forward.
Continued education is a must to not only our members, but outside of the Maine Anjou ranks.
I think the biggest thing is when people look at a breed association, they look at it just from the standpoint of giving them some information, some birth date information, maybe some weight information, and then just getting a certificate back, and that's kind of the function of the association. But that's really not what it is. You know, the function of the association really is to add value to your cattle. Doesn't matter if you're Maine Anjou, Angus, or whatever. That's the function of it. And I think it's important for people to understand that there has to be other programs or other things, just like I spoke about the genomic aspect here and the commercial program that we're just starting on. All these other programs that you need out there to add value. And I think that people sometimes overlook that. And as we look at the function of an association down the road, the function of the association down the road, I believe, is going to be taking all these various programs or taking all this research data that we have and really interpreting it and working with the producer hand in hand to interpret it for him to add value to those cattle down the road.
I think one of the things that maybe as a breed or a board or this office, we haven't probably done as good a job as we could have or should have in educating the membership as to the total value that the breed can bring to the industry. We struggle with that, and I hope through this foundation, if we can raise some funds to do some better educational things, that we can really bring to the focus the total value, not just phenotypic and selling show heifers, so to speak, but that we do have a true value within the beef industry, and that's really where our growth can be.
Well, I think, you know, we all go to a stock show when we look at livestock and cattle, but I see here in the future where we have town hall meetings at these stock shows. I see in the future where we have local town hall meetings with local producers and areas, much the same way that our commercial end of it is done to educate these people and get the word out. I see us really getting more involved with universities, just like what we do with Kansas State and Bob Weber on the genomic side, and getting people like that and bringing people like that outside our association in to speak to other people to get involved. You know, and I think people are going to have to open up their minds a little bit. I think that we in the beef cattle industry especially are traditionalists. We do the same thing the same way because we've been doing it the same way for years and years and years, and it's very hard to turn. But I think those people that open up and those people that are open-minded, which I think there's a lot of people out there that can sit down and sort of digest this information, take it home, start to contact these people and work with people outside even the association that we bring in, such as Bob. I think we get the word out like that.
Today's youth is the future in the beef industry. So what better way to provide resources to help enhance the Maine Anjou breed than through this foundation?
It's an investment in the future. You know, if you've already invested in Maine Anjou cattle in this breed, you need to invest in this program here, because this program is essentially what is going to create value for you down the road.
Our young people will be the future of this industry as well as the farm industry. Without them, everything goes to the dickens and just disappears. So we have to be able for the families that raise kids, that some of them stay on the ranch or the farm, and they have the opportunity to go get the education that makes them better. We always say, you know, we want our kids to have a better life than we did. Well, on farms and ranches, for them to do that, they have to go to school. And it's not a school that's really easy. It's not a school that's real simple. It's not a school that you go for, you know, a couple years and come home and everything's fine. We're going to need some doctors in there. We're going to need some people with master's degrees in there. We're going to need some kids that really, really are ready to go. And yes, they're going to pick up everything that Granddad and Dad did, but there's some more ideas that are going to come along with it.
The scholarship itself that I got through the American Junior Association was one that really helped me. Being able to graduate college without student loans was something that I'm going to be able to reach so many more students because I don't have that burden or that constant nagging in my mind about how am I going to cover these costs, and I don't know if I would have been able to do that without scholarships like the ones I got through the American Junior Association. And it's something where this scholarship instilled two things. It instilled first that people had confidence in my dream, and it instilled secondly that I could do this while eliminating some of that stress of the added expense. And those two things have pushed me to constantly try to find that extra passion that I can share with other people.
Receiving the Maine scholarship put a big dent in my tuition, and certainly helped me to be able to afford books and fees that otherwise I would have had to borrow money to be able to afford. The Maine Association giving me that scholarship money also kind of validated the last 10 years of my involvement in the breed. That kind of gave me a little symbolic pat on the back and sent me on my way to the beef industry to represent that breed.
The Reaching Beyond Foundation and the AMAA is a really world-class organizations, and I don't think people fully grasp how lives are changed when you're involved in the cattle industry, involved in the Maine Anjou Association, and when you're donating for a really good cause. I mean, you actually help develop kids and people into fine, upstanding adults. And you know, you look at a lot of prominent names in the industry and look at where they're at now. I mean, me myself, I grew up to be a lawyer. Jared Settles also grew up to be a lawyer. Mr. Salton grew up to be a pharmacist. You know, we all harness those experiences with the Maine Association and have turned it into something extremely positive for our lives.
So scholarship opportunities through foundations like the American Maine Anjous becomes very important. It's a way to support students that have great creative ideas and will be the future of our business and agricultural leaders moving forward. And providing that kind of financial support lets them continue their education. I was fortunate when I was a young person to get a number of scholarships through a couple of different breed organizations that without those it would have made my college education much more difficult. And so I'm a good example of how those sorts of foundations and funds can really support students and their educational activities that come back around and long-term support our individual businesses and entities by providing producers that have the technical knowledge when they come back into the business, or provide support through all the allied businesses in our production system or in academics and a variety of animal science departments. If you look at the faculty, many of them came up through production agriculture and were in 4-H and FFA and junior breed organizations and had support to get where they are today.
If you've got the means and you've got the interest in supporting young people that have an interest in a breed that has been extremely important to me, and I think to a lot of the people viewing this video, and you have the means to support those young people, that it's a no-brainer. There's nothing that makes more sense than supporting young people that are intelligent and wanting to further their educational aspirations. And so I would strongly encourage those kind of foundational dollars.
All of us associated with the Maine Anjou industry, thank you for taking the time to view this Reaching Beyond production. We sincerely hope that you will help our efforts for a better tomorrow by supporting the Reaching Beyond Foundation. For more information, please visit our website at maineanjou.org.